Hi, thank you for meeting with me today, Isabella. Before we begin, I want to briefly go over some important information with you. So as part of my training at Grand Canyon University, I'll be conducting this mock interview as if it were a real intake session. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Great. First, I want to briefly review informed consent. I did receive your signed form, so thank you for that. This session will be recorded, but only I will be on camera, though your voice will be heard during your responses. The recording is for academic use only. My instructors will view it to provide feedback on my clinical skills. Your name and personal details will remain confidential. And you can use an alias if you like. You also have the right to stop at any point. This recording will be deleted after 3 months. Also, if anything we discussed today causes distress, I encourage you to reach out to a professional for support. Do you have any questions about this?
Nope.
Okay. To start, can you tell me what brings you in today or what you hope to gain from counseling?
Yeah. Well, lately I've been feeling really anxious. My chest gets tight and my heart starts racing. And sometimes I feel like I can't catch my breath. I've been feeling really down on myself lately and like self-esteem issues. And I've been having some trouble focusing, like especially like when I'm at work, project manager, and I've even missed a few deadlines because I get so overwhelmed. At first, I was thinking it's just stress, but it keeps on getting worse. So yeah, that's why I decided to see if you guys can help me.
Okay. It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed both at work and at home, and that's really starting to affect your daily life. That must be incredibly difficult. Can you tell me more about how this is impacting your work as a project manager? What changes specifically have you noticed?
Um, Even like simple tasks, too much. Zoning out at my computer, just staring at it. Um, like I used to be like more organized than I am now, but now I feel like I'm always behind. Really, my boss hasn't said anything about it yet, but I'm worried that eventually he's gonna notice.
Okay. I appreciate how self-aware you are of these changes, and it was a good decision to seek support. Takes a lot of courage. Let's talk a bit about your home life. Can you tell me about your family and support system?
Well, I have two kids. Um, I've been raising them on my own. It's just me, so it's been pretty tough. Um, their dad and I divorced a couple of years ago. He hasn't been like lately. I've noticed my kids are acting a little different. Like they're more withdrawn, and sometimes they're even acting out. I don't know if they're feeling the weight of everything I'm going through too.
Okay. So you're noticing changes in your children's behavior, and you feel it might be related to the stress in the household and their father's absence.
Yeah, I mean, probably like we don't really see my parents either because we've had a falling out. Just kind of all alone.
Okay. That must be pretty isolating. You sounds like you're juggling a demanding job, caring for two children on your own, dealing with family estrangement. mean, that's a lot for anyone. Let me ask you some background questions, just to get a more complete view of your situation. Okay.
Okay.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any medical or mental health conditions?
Um, Not really. Like I've had postpartum depression after my second kid. Never really been officially diagnosed with anything, but I have felt like pretty anxious on and off for the last few years. And physically, I'm mostly healthy, but I have had some sleep issues and, like I said, the chest pains before.
Okay. Do you use alcohol, drugs, or anything else to cope with stress?
I mean, not really. Like no drugs. And I rarely drink. Like maybe like a glass of wine like once a month.
Okay. Um, how about tell me a little bit more about your education and work background.
Yeah. So education wise, I've had a bachelor's in business administration. So that's about that. And then I've been a project manager for like 6 years now. Yeah.
Okay. How about your support system outside of your family? Do you have any friends, coworkers, or anyone else you talk to fairly regularly?
Um, no, not much right now. Like I used to talk to my mom a lot, but that's not happening anymore. I use I have one coworker that I talk to sometimes, but I try not to let on like about how bad I feel.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you're doing your best to manage, even with the limited support. Um, do you consider faith or spirituality an important part of your life?
Yeah, yeah. I believe in God and to go to church pretty regularly. Um, but I had an argument with my parents, and I stopped going. I still pray sometimes when I'm alone, and I miss that, and I do miss that connection. It really just found it.
Okay. And what about culturally? Are there any values or beliefs that you think are important for me to know about to better understand your experiences?
Um, like being Latina, our families are always very important, especially to me. So losing that support from my parents like really hurt. I've been trying to stay strong for my kids.
I'm sorry to hear that. That must be difficult. Um, if I had to ask you to rate your readiness for change on a scale from, let's say, 1 to 10, with 10 being fully ready to go right now, and 1 being not really ready at all, where do you think you are today?
I agree. Like, um,
What do you think might help move that number up?
um, like maybe like have a just like talking with this makes me feel a little better.
Great insight. Well, you've already taken the first step by just showing up today. So that right there says a lot about your motivation and your resilience. Um, tying into that, what personal strengths do you think have helped you in the past during tough times?
I'm I've always been someone who like gets things done, like organized. Like even now,
Makes sense, given your career. What goals would you like to work toward together? It could be personal or professional.
really, I just want to start feeling like myself again. Like maybe reconnect with people and find ways to feel less like overwhelmed. Um, honestly, I'd love to feel like a mom again, like a present, not just surviving.
Okay. And would you be open to exploring some coping strategies, maybe like journaling or breathing exercises between sessions?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I'd be open to like journaling or something. Like I used to write a lot, and that helped me get through some of the thoughts I was having.
Okay, sure. Well, we can definitely explore that some more as we move forward. Um, I really appreciate you opening up today. You've given me a good foundation, I think, to begin understanding your situation. Um, in our next session, we're about out of time now, but we can start working together on setting some goals, maybe exploring some more coping strategies and possibly discuss strategies for starting to rebuild your support network. So far, we've talked about, the stress you're experiencing at work, the impact that it's having at home, some feelings of disconnection from your family and your faith, and how all of this is kind of contributing a little to the anxiety and that overwhelming feeling. Um, are there any questions that you have for me before we wrap up?
Oh, I am glad I came though. Like it feels like sort of like the right step in the right direction.
I'm glad. Um, Thank you again, Stella. I look forward to working with you on your goals and helping you reconnect with your strengths and values. I'll see you next time.